Hello, welcome to this channel. Today we will learn about the devastating consequences that await Melinda Trask as she faces severe punishment for her role in helping Sophia Choi deceive everyone in Salem. This week promises to deliver explosive confrontations, shocking revelations, and a heavy price that both Melinda and Sophia will pay for their elaborate web of lies. Melinda Trask's downfall begins. The walls are crumbling around Melinda Trask as her involvement in Sophia's deceptive schemes threatens to destroy everything she's worked for in Salem. The former district attorney, who should have known better than to participate in such fraudulent activities, now finds herself standing on the edge of a professional and personal abyss. Her decision to assist Sophia in fabricating the paternity story and sabotaging Johnny and Chanel's adoption plans represents not just a lapse in judgment, but a complete betrayal of her legal ethics and moral responsibilities. The question now haunting everyone in Salem is whether Melinda will face criminal charges, disbarment, or both as the truth emerges. Her history of being involved in questionable adoption schemes has finally caught up with her, and this time, there may be no escaping the consequences that await. Sophia's failed escape attempt. Sophia Choi knows that time has run out, and in a desperate move, she frantically packs her bags in an attempt to flee Salem before facing the army of people she's wronged. The young woman who orchestrated such elaborate lies about her baby's paternity, sent vicious text messages to sabotage an innocent couple's adoption dreams, and manipulated everyone around her now realizes that her house of cards is collapsing. Her escape plan, however foolproof she believes it to be, is destined to fail spectacularly. The residents of Salem who have been victimized by her cruel machinations deserve their moment of reckoning, and the universe seems determined to deliver exactly that. Sophia's terror is palpable as she understands that once captured, she'll face an unprecedented lineup of angry, betrayed individuals ready to unleash their fury. Tate and Holly unite against their common enemy. In a powerful display of solidarity, Tate Black and Holly Jonas put aside their complicated history to join forces against Sophia. Tate, now armed with the liberating knowledge that he is not the father of Sophia's baby, experiences a profound sense of relief that's been months in the making. The burden that weighed heavily on his young shoulders has finally been lifted, allowing him to see clearly for the first time in what feels like forever. Holly, who was moments away from boarding a flight to Paris to escape the pain of their situation, makes the decision to stay in Salem after Tate shares the earth-shattering news about Sophia's deception. Together, this young couple devises a strategic plan to track down Sophia before she can disappear into the night. Their determination to ensure justice is served demonstrates a maturity beyond their years, and their partnership in this mission solidifies their bond in ways they never anticipated. The truth about Aaron Green's paternity. Aaron Green finds himself thrust into an emotional whirlwind when Tate reveals the shocking truth about the baby's paternity. The realization hits Aaron like a freight train as he begins to connect the dots and understand that he is likely the biological father of Sophia's child. His initial reaction is one of complete panic and disbelief, struggling to process how a momentary lapse in judgment has resulted in such life-altering circumstances. The young man experiences what can only be described as a full-blown father freak-out, grappling with the weight of potential fatherhood and all the responsibilities it entails. Aaron's anxiety intensifies as he contemplates confronting Sophia about the truth, knowing that such a conversation will change the trajectory of his entire life. The confirmation he seeks will undoubtedly come through another DNA test, one that will settle the question of Tesoro's true paternity once and for all. The inevitable confrontations. Once Sophia's escape attempt is thwarted and she's brought back to face the consequences of her actions, an extraordinary scene unfolds in Salem. A long line of fierce, angry individuals waits impatiently for their opportunity to confront the young woman who caused them such profound pain and suffering. Holly Jonas, who nearly abandoned her life in Salem because of Sophia's lies, stands ready to express the depth of betrayal she feels. Tate Black, who spent months believing he was going to be a teenage father and endured the judgment and stress that came with it, deserves his moment to voice his anguish. Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree DiMera, whose dreams of adopting a child were viciously sabotaged by Sophia's malicious text messages, have every right to demand answers for the cruelty inflicted upon them. Brady Black, who watched his son suffer under the weight of false responsibility, joins the chorus of voices seeking accountability. Each confrontation promises to be raw, emotional, and absolutely justified given the extensive damage Sophia's deceptions have caused throughout Salem. Melinda's uncertain future. The question of whether Melinda will face consequences for her complicity in Sophia's schemes remains shrouded in uncertainty. Everything hinges on Sophia's next move and whether she chooses to protect the woman who helped her execute at least portions of her elaborate deception. Recent tensions between Melinda and Sophia add another layer of complexity to this already volatile situation. Melinda's visible upset with Sophia's actions suggests that their alliance may be fracturing at precisely the moment when loyalty matters most. If Sophia decides to reveal Melinda's involvement in an attempt to deflect blame or reduce her own culpability, the former district attorney could find herself facing professional ruin, legal jeopardy, and social ostracism. The possibility of criminal charges looms large, particularly given Melinda's previous entanglements with questionable adoption arrangements. Her fear about the consequences of her actions is evident, and rightfully so, as the legal community rarely shows mercy to one of their own who has betrayed the public trust so egregiously. Theo Carver's enemy encounter. Meanwhile, another dramatic storyline unfolds as Theo Carver finds himself facing adversaries in Salem. The young man, who recently returned to town and accepted a position at DiMera Enterprises, navigates treacherous waters both professionally and personally. His presence in Salem stirs up conflict and tension, particularly regarding his career choices and the enemies they create. Theo receives support from Paulina Price, who stands firmly behind his professional ambitions and encourages him to pursue his goals without fear. However, not everyone in his family shares Paulina's enthusiasm, as Abe Carver expresses serious reservations about Theo's decision to work for the DiMera organization. This family division creates additional stress for Theo as he attempts to establish himself professionally while managing the complex interpersonal dynamics that come with being part of a prominent Salem family. The paternity test that changes everything. The need for definitive answers regarding Tesoro's paternity becomes undeniable as the truth continues to unravel. Aaron, overwhelmed by the possibility that he might be the biological father, seeks concrete confirmation through scientific means. Another DNA test is scheduled to settle the question once and for all, providing the irrefutable evidence that everyone desperately needs. This test represents far more than just a medical procedure. It symbolizes the moment when lies give way to truth and speculation transforms into certainty. For Aaron, the results will determine his future trajectory and force him to make decisions about his role in his child's life. For Tate, the test provides the official vindication he deserves after months of being falsely labeled as an irresponsible teenage father. The anticipation surrounding these results creates palpable tension throughout Salem as multiple families await news that will impact them all in profound ways. The ripple effects of deception. The damage caused by Sophia and Melinda's schemes extends far beyond the immediate victims, creating ripple effects that touch numerous lives throughout Salem. Johnny and Chanel's adoption dreams lie in ruins, their hopes of becoming parents seemingly dashed by malicious interference. The emotional trauma inflicted upon this couple, who were ready to open their hearts and homes to a child in need, represents one of the cruelest aspects of Sophia's deception. Their uncertainty about whether they can salvage their adoption plans adds another layer of heartbreak to an already devastating situation. The relationship between Tate and Holly, which should have been allowed to flourish naturally, was poisoned by false information and manufactured drama. The trust that was broken within Salem's younger generation may take years to fully repair, as friendships were tested and loyalties questioned based on lies. Justice and accountability. As this explosive week unfolds, the themes of justice and accountability take center stage in Salem. The residents who were victimized by Sophia's elaborate deceptions refuse to let her actions go unpunished or unaddressed. Their collective demand for acknowledgement, apologies, and consequences reflects a community that has been pushed too far by one individual's selfish manipulations. The confrontations that ensue serve not just as opportunities for emotional catharsis, but as necessary steps toward healing and moving forward. For Melinda, the reckoning arrives with the force of a tidal wave, threatening to sweep away everything she's built over her career. Her punishment, whether it comes in the form of legal consequences, professional sanctions, or social exile, will serve as a stark reminder that even those in positions of authority and trust are not above the law. The message resonating through Salem is clear: deception, manipulation, and the abuse of power will not be tolerated, regardless of who perpetrates these acts. The week of October 20th to 24th promises to deliver some of the most intense, emotionally charged episodes in recent days of our lives' history, as truth finally triumphs over lies and those who have been wronged claim their rightful vindication.